So you might recognize our next guest. She's a frequent flyer here on Twin Cities Live. We give her a card and little wings, and she gets free drinks.
And it gets her anywhere she goes. Sheletta Brundage, she's an Emmy Award-winning comedian, talk show host, and radio personality. Also the founder of Sheletta Makes Me Laugh, an online podcasting platform for people of color.
She's also a big voice for the Black community and the movement taking place in our society. Sheletta is Skyping in from her RV in northern Minnesota to give us her picks for today's Watch, Read, Listen, which is presented by True Vision. Sheletta, you're the first person that we've Skyped with on an RV on this show. We like that it's you.
How's the road?
It is awesome. I'm making history. What? I am so excited. It is so awesome. It's big. It's spacious. The kids have their own bunk beds, their own TV, so there's no fighting. I sent them actually out in the woods to play with bears until we're done so I can have some peace and quiet. I haven't heard any bears growling. I haven't heard any kids yelling, so I'm guessing it's a win-win for everybody right now.
Listen, those kids of yours are so sweet. If a bear was going to snack on something, you'd be one of them, so you better watch out.
You better look out. All right, let's get to this. We want to find out what you're watching, reading, and listening to. Let's start with what you're watching. It's called Eating Up Easter. Tell us more.
Sergio Rapoux is a local filmmaker from Easter Island. He had a brand new son, and he thought, how can I pass on my heritage to my child? And so he created this great documentary. It's gotten so many accolades and awards about Easter Island, where he's from, his native land, how they're struggling in this new world, this new environment, and how they're going to preserve and pass on their history to the next generation of children. And I was, kind of looking at how to do that with my own family. My grandmother turns 100 years old next month, and I wanted to pass her stories on to my babies. And so I stumbled on this documentary and saw him doing it and thought I should start recording my grandmother's story so that my children can have it and pass it down to their children.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so is the documentary hopeful? Does it feel like, what do you leave feeling like?
You leave feeling like you need to do more. You leave feeling like these people have such a rich legacy and a rich history. What's in my past? What have my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents left behind that I need to pass down to my children? I felt so prideful for these people. And, the story is still ongoing. These people are dealing with, internet and new things, and now COVID-19, and they're still trying to preserve their way of life and their heritage. And the young people just kind of want to do young people things, and the older people want to do old people things, and that's actually what everybody is going through right now. So it leaves you with a lot of different emotions. You want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to go back to the old school, you want to teach the old folks new stuff. It's amazing, and it's so well put together.
Oh, that's great. Eating Up Easter. Okay, I gotta look for that.
All right, now we talk about what you're reading. This is called Black Boy, Black Boy. It's by Crown Shepherd. What's this all about?
This is a story by a local author, Crown Shepherd. It's a story about young African-American boys and what they can be and how they can do amazing things. We see so many negative stories in the news about young Black boys, the violence, the crime, this bad thing happening, that bad thing happening. And a lot of times our African-American boys don't see positive images of themselves in the media. And so this book shows young Black boys they can be a lawyer or a doctor or an astronaut or a scientist. My 3 boys read this and they feel so hopeful about what they want to be. And not just that, we've shared the book with our neighbors so that their kids can see young African-American boys being judges and lawyers and doctors and dentists and know that they have the same opportunities as everybody else in this country. And so it's just a positive image for young African-American boys of young African-American boys of all shade colors. And it's just a beautiful story and a beautiful journey for these young boys.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you say that it's helpful for any family, regardless of if you're Black or not, because it just is reinforcing positive images of Black boys and Black men, which is something that is so important. Okay, now what are you listening to?
Girl, so Sounds of Blackness, Gary Hines, they're usually all optimistic and keep your head to the sky and, let's hold hands and love each other. But they got a new song out, girl, and the title alone ought to tell you how they're feeling. It's called Sick and Tired. It is the song of the movement. After the murder of George Floyd, Gary Hines got the Grammy Award-winning Sounds of Blackness. into the virtual studio, and we know that these are the best of the best singers in the state of Minnesota. They have been together for decades, and they just poured the emotions of what they were feeling after George Floyd's murder into a new song, and they're playing it around the country at every movement, at every march, at every protest, at every rally. Sick and Tired is the anthem of the Black Lives Matter movement and of every movement that's going on around this country to demand justice and change in our society. And the beautiful thing about the Sounds of Blackness, as you all know, is they are a group that is very generous, and they are donating a large portion of their proceeds to the George Floyd Foundation.
Oh, how wonderful.
Oh, Sheletta, that's
awesome.
great.
Sheletta, three great
You're so
picks
good.
there. Here's what I'm curious
From
about
the
now.
RV.
What are you going to do next today? Like, what's next on your agenda since you're in an RV right now?
I'm going to go find my kids because I have no idea where they are. I have locked the door to the RV. They are literally out in the woods playing right now. They're just like, the only reason that joke is funny is because it's true. So I have to go find.
All right, well, put a tweet out later and let us know that the kids are okay. All right, Sheletta?
Okay, I will. You know I will. I love you guys. Thanks for having me.
We love you, Sheletta.
you.
So good to talk with you again. Our best to your family. We posted Sheletta's pics up on our website, and we, of course, want to thank True Vision Center for sponsoring our show.
She is so good. That's so great. All right, still to come.